In the oppressive summer heat of 1716, 14 of South Carolina's wealthiest plantation owners assembled at the Grayfield estate for what they assumed would be an ordinary business meeting. Not a single one survived. When authorities arrived 3 days later, what they found defied all explanation. Charred bodies arranged in a perfect ring around a huge coal furnace. Their wrists bound in iron shackles, their mouths crammed with raw cotton. The sole witness was an enslaved woman named Esperanza de Lima, discovered sitting calmly in the estate's kitchen, humming a Portuguese lullaby while steadily sharpening kitchen knives. When questioned, she uttered just one phrase in broken English: "Justice burns slower than coal, but burns complete." Colonial records of the incident were sealed by order of Governor Robert Johnson and stayed buried in Charleston's archives for more than 200 years. Tonight, we uncover the terrifying truth behind what came to be known as the Grayfield Massacre. A tale of vengeance so methodical and brutal that it reshaped how the entire colony regarded their human property. Before we continue with Esperanza de Lima's story and the night that shook colonial South Carolina to its core, I need you to do something for me. Please hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because stories like this, buried by time and concealed by the powerful, deserve to be told. And while you're at it, drop a comment letting me know which state you're listening from. Are there dark historical secrets lurking in your own backyard? Now, let's travel back to 1716 and uncover how a woman regarded as nothing but property orchestrated one of the most calculated acts of revenge in colonial American history. The tale doesn't begin with that horrific night, but 15 years earlier. In the bustling port city of Charleston, South Carolina, the year was 1701, and the colony was experiencing unprecedented prosperity. Built on the backs of enslaved Africans who worked the rice plantations stretching along the coastal lowlands. Among the most successful planters was Edmund Grayfield, a second-generation colonist whose family had carved a 3,000-acre empire from the swamplands north of the Ashley River. Grayfield was a man of exceptional cruelty, even by the harsh standards of his era. Standing over 6 feet tall, with pale blue eyes that seemed to look through people rather than at them, he had earned a reputation for breaking slaves, both physically and mentally. His plantation, known as Grayfield Estate, was whispered about in slave quarters throughout the region. It was said that slaves sent there either died within a year or emerged as hollow shells of their former selves. In September of 1701, a Portuguese slave ship called the Santa Maria arrived in Charleston Harbor, carrying 180 souls from the coast of Angola. Among them was a young woman, perhaps 20 years old, who would be given the name Esperanza de Lima by her new owner. What set her apart from the other slaves wasn't immediately obvious to the white colonists who inspected her like livestock at market. She was of average height and build, with intelligent dark eyes and intricate tribal scarification on her shoulders that told of her royal lineage. A story that would remain unknown to her captors. They didn't know that Esperanza had been the daughter of a powerful village chief, trained from childhood in the arts of strategy, negotiation, and what colonial minds would have dismissed as witchcraft, but was actually a sophisticated understanding of herbs, poisons, and human psychology. She had witnessed Portuguese raiders burn her village, murder her father, and enslave her people. In her mind, every white face she encountered was connected to that original sin. Edmund Grayfield purchased her for 42 sterling, a considerable sum reflecting her apparent health and youth. He had specific plans for his new acquisition. Grayfield's previous house slave, an older woman named Sarah, had recently died under mysterious circumstances, though Everyone on the plantation knew she had been beaten to death for spilling wine on his imported English carpet. From her first day at Grayfield Estate, Esperanza began what would become a 15-year campaign of careful observation and meticulous planning. She learned English quickly, but pretended to understand far less than she actually did. She watched. She listened. She remembered every slight, every cruelty, every name mentioned in hushed conversations among the plantation elite. The Grayfield Estate was more than just a home. It was the unofficial meeting place for what the planters called the Rice Council, a group of 14 plantation owners who controlled the colony's agricultural policies and, by extension, its political future. These men met monthly to discuss rice prices, slave regulations, and how to maximize profits while minimizing colonial oversight from London. They saw themselves as kings of their own domains, answerable to no earthly authority. The 14 members represented the most powerful families in the colony. Edmund Grayfield as unofficial leader, William Peaton, whose plantation produced more rice than any other in the Americas, James Rutherford, also a colonial judge, Marcus Sutton, who ran the largest slave trading operation between Charleston and Savannah, Henry Caldwell, whose political connections reached the governor's office, Thomas Harrington, a former British naval officer who ruled his plantation like a military compound, Benjamin Fairfax, with family fortune dating to the earliest colonial settlements, Samuel Kingsley, who specialized in seasoning newly arrived African slaves, Robert Fielding, known for his innovative torture techniques, Charles Warwick, whose plantation